Okay, U.S. Department of Homeland Security. And here is a tree structure for this cabinet level department. It is huge, and it includes um, different offices and agencies, but not all of them are related to transportation security. So the highlighted ones, they are related to transportation security. And I'm going to go through the main functions of them with one or several sentences. You don't have to memorize them, but as a part of this introduction level class, you should know their functions because they're related to transportation security and policy making. Okay, so the first one is Science and Technology Directorate. Primary research and development division of DHS and manages the Transportation Laboratory, TSL. So basically, they are responsible for the research of hardware and software for transportation security. For example, hardware for the screening of passengers and cargoes. Okay, basically, they're using new technology to make sure that there is effective and efficient screening of cargoes and passengers and airplanes. So the next one is Cybersecurity and Infrastructure Security Agency. From the name, you know that it's not only exclusively responsible for transportation security, right? It's responsible for cybersecurity and infrastructure security all over the country, inside or outside of transportation systems. Okay, they're responsible for the implementation of the National Infrastructure Protection Plan, including Transportation System SSP, right? Sector-specific plans, providing assistance for infrastructure protection. Of course, transportation systems, they are a part of national infrastructure system, right? And since today everything is online, most information in our society today has been digitized. So protecting cyberspace is also very important. Okay. And the Office of Intelligence and Analysis, from the name, you know they're responsible for collecting information and intelligence to prevent bad things from happening, right? And they're also responsible for access current and future security threats and disseminating such information to appropriate federal and non-federal entities. So they're responsible for collecting and the analysis of information and intelligence. They're also responsible for sending out intelligence and information to proper agencies or entities. And the Office of Operations Coordination, I think the name again is straightforward enough. They are responsible for coordination among DHS, policymakers, and other officials at all levels. This this part of DHS is like a joint or a hub connecting different stakeholders. Again, not only stakeholders for transportation security, but for homeland security, right? And Customs and Border Protection, they are mainly responsible for screening incoming vessels, crew, and cargo for the presence of weapons, drugs, and explosives. And I also believe that they are also responsible for the background check of crew because they do the background check of passengers who are trying to enter the United States. Okay, and U.S. Coast Guard. We mentioned this unit before, conducting port facility and commercial vessel inspections. Okay, and it's a very special unit. You can consider it as a military unit, and in peacetime, they're responsible for inspections, and during the wartime, they can be transferred from DHS to the Department of Navy, US Department of Navy, and to serve as a military unit. Okay. And FEMA. FEMA is very famous even today during the pandemic because they're responsible in general managing and coordinating resources and the federal response to major domestic disasters and emergencies. So COVID-19 is obviously, I would say, a disaster or an emergency. I would say disaster. They're also responsible for transportation security related emergencies. But I would say at least they're not doing a very well job today dealing with COVID-19 because they're responsible for the federal level management of PPE protection, personal protection equipment, and also they are responsible for managing the distribution of vaccines around the country. And I would say they are not doing very well, not in transportation security, but in dealing with this COVID-19 pandemic, right? There are a lot of reasons why they are not doing very well. One of the reasons is the inability of former administration of, federal administration. But we will say, and you can say that again. I want to emphasize this again. There must be a powerful, efficient national level agency for a specific realm, right? So FEMA is a federal level agency for domestic disasters and emergencies. It's a good thing there is this agency, but it's more important that to make sure that this agency is working efficiently. Okay, and it's pretty important to have unified, high-level policymakers and overseers to deal with national scale issues such as transportation security, right? And this pandemic. Okay, that's FEMA. And besides DHS, I also want to provide more information on TSA. So here is a tree structure of TSA, TSA's organization, okay? It's a big agency, employs around 54,200 full-time workers, and most of them, they're working as airport screeners. So that's the reason why you can see a lot of TSA people in airports, but not so many in bus stations or train stations. So aviation security is the one TSA mainly focuses on. Okay, their duties ensuring effective and efficient screening for passenger planes, also for passengers themselves, and cargoes and checked baggages. Okay, and deploying federal air marshals who can carry weapons on board. Okay, and managing risks of land transportation systems, but not their main task. Their main task is aviation security, and developing and implementing more advanced screening programs. I mentioned TSL before, right? The laboratory for transportation security. When they have developed software and hardware for passenger and baggage screenings, TSA is responsible for implementing them, and of course evaluate their performance. So TSA has close relationship with that TSL, the Laboratory for Transportation Security. And also other federal departments and agencies related to transportation security. There are many, and I just want to mention them so you know them. Okay, the first one is of course DOT. So according to HSPD 7, DOT and DHS, they should work together to address transportation system security. Okay, and you should know that TSA was originally a part of DOT when it was established, and then moved to THS. Okay, so used to be a DOT department, used to be a DOT agency. Now TSA is DHS agency. So these agencies, they are part of DOT, FAA, FHWA, FRA, FTA. So you can say these agencies, these administrations, they cover different modes of transportation security, right? Aviation, road, but not maritime, right? Aviation, highway, the last three, they're all land transportation security, but no maritime, okay? Okay, Department of the Defense, DoD, a user of transportation systems and a provider of security services. And yeah, these units, they are military units under DoD, right? North American Aerospace Defense Command, the Defense Joint Intelligence Operations Center, the Army Corps of Engineers. They are all using transportation systems. They are also responsible for what? For providing security services to transportation systems. But you should know that they are mainly military units, okay, under Department of Defense. And Department of Justice investigate and prosecute actual or attempt attacks and sabotage on transportation facilities. Of course, I would say Department of Justice is related to every part, every aspect of the society, of our life, right? No one can escape from laws, right? The National Rail Passenger Corporation, it has another name, it's called Amtrak today, a quasi-governmental agency established by the Rail Passenger Service Act of 1970. So Amtrak is very special. The railway system that Amtrak is using was constructed by the federal government. But now Amtrak is operated by a private company. Okay, so you should know this. It's a combination of private and public sectors. And at regional level, there are different agencies. I just want to pick several famous ones to introduce. Okay, so the first one is Port Authority of New York and New Jersey. Because New York and New Jersey, they're very close to each other. So this is a regional agency covering two states, or mainly a city and a state. Okay, so it's for this region instead of a specific city or state. It manages and maintains infrastructure critical to the New York, New Jersey region's trade and transportation network, including 5 airports, seaport, rail transit system is called PATH, 6 tunnels and bridges between New York and New Jersey. So specifically New York City instead of New York State, right? The Port Authority bus terminal, it is a huge one in Manhattan. It's a nexus connecting New York subway system and bus system. Okay, and George Washington Bridge bus station. Okay, the World Trade Center site. So the World Trade Center site now is a complex of many parks, retailers, and also including the ground zero of 9/11 attack. Now it's a place for tourists to memorize all those people died in those attacks. Okay, so yeah, more information is provided here. You can say that this 9/11 site, or say, because they are new World Trade Center buildings, right? So it's still called World Trade Center site. It's a good place to visit as a tourist. So if you have the chance, go there. Okay, it's magnificent. There are two huge fountains based on the basis of those two old buildings, two World Trade Center towers, and you can say all the names of people who died during that attack and after those attacks. Okay. And at state level, I would just want to introduce this Ohio Department of Transportation, which is responsible for the transportation systems and security in the state of Ohio. And you can say the whole state is divided into 12 regions. And the Ohio DOT is addressing transportation systems and security based on these 12 regions. Okay, and the Ohio Department of Transportation Office of Aviation. Obviously, this office is a part of Ohio DOT, responsible for aviation security. And this figure is from their website. And you can see all those documents related to airport security. These documents, they are from TSA. And Office of Aviation is a unit responsible for the implementation of the security policies within the state of Ohio. Okay, so they do not make federal, of course, federal and regional policies. They may be responsible for making state level policies, but they are basically carrying out the task of implementation of TSA and federal level aviation security policies. Okay, and the last agency I want to introduce here is the Ohio State Highway Patrol. Okay, I used to think that they are a part of DOT, but they're not. It is a division of the Ohio Department of Public Safety. And I believe they're responsible for issuing tickets to you if you are speeding on highways, right? So all those speed traps on highways, they are set by Ohio State Highway Patrol. Okay, so that's all I want to say for this specific lecture regarding transportation security organizations at different scales. You can say this lecture specifically is very general. So I just gave you information about those agencies and organizations at international level, national level, state level, right? I did not provide more specific information on local level agencies, but for example, the airport police for Columbus, But you should know these organizations, they are distributed at different levels to make sure that transportation security is addressed for people's life. Okay, and yeah, I'll just stop here and I will see you next week. Thank you.